right, we are live. I'm going to wait a few seconds while YouTube and StreamYard start talking to each other. There we go. Looks like that they have started to talk to one another. So here I am on a Saturday night. We're doing Fangsology tonight. There's been a lot of talk about the Demi-God Fangs, the atheist demigod who doesn't even really believe in himself. But here to have a little bit of fun, but also I think, as you'll see, there's a little bit of argument absurdum where I'm illustrating the absurdity of a lot of religious concepts by creating a religion of my own. And so it's kind of the way it works. But Fangsology, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to do Fangsology night with the Rabyd Atheist, where we're going to take all that we know about the Demi-God Fangs and set the record at least firmly crooked, if not straight. So we're going to definitely endeavor to do that. Also, there's a goal in chat for super chats. So if we reach, there's a couple milestones, 3 more, and I think I've got a hat reveal, but I'll probably switch that out after about 10 minutes to the bunny hat, because we'll be talking about fangs as it is. So there's that. So we're going to do that. And then we're, if I get to 13, I'll post the link to StreamYard in the description or in the chat, and people can come on in. If they meet with my approval. There's a few that I won't let in. So there's that. But yeah. But let's get a quick roll call. Let's see. We got Martin was here asking me how I was. I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. I can make it rig Fang solo. That has a lot of meanings, all of which are valid. So there's that. Hey, Craig Yeldergon. Good to see you. We have Evan here as well. Coyote made it. Hey, Earl, welcome. I'm going to see a lot of Earl's work in my presentation tonight. So a lot of the artwork today, in fact, all the artwork, I think, is I Killed Earl's. So Earl can take credit and take a bow for that. But we're going to try, I created a little presentation of what we know so far about fangs. And I'm hoping to illustrate a few things about religion, but I'm also trying to get this religion a little bit more established. So there's that. Yes, Earl's going to curtsy. Very well done. Very well done. All right, so let's put it up here. Fangsology, what we know so far. What we know so far about fangs. Fangsology is the study of the nature and purpose of the Demi-God Fangs. So we're not going to cover tonight the religion so much as what we know about fangs, him, herself. Fangs is our study here. We're just trying to figure out what we know about fangs based on everything. So there's that. There will be, massive round of applause for I Killed Earl. Yes, definitely. So there's that aspect of it. So the whole point of this is to get some understanding of who Fangs is and what they're about, what their mission is, and how they work. And it's a made-up system of study, much like theology. So I'm taking my precedent from theology. So there's that. But this is a nice art corner shot of one of Earl's other pieces. So, but I always love this version of Fangs. Always looks like, oh, you caught me. So what do we know so far? The origin of Fangs. Now I'm gonna deal, before I get into this, I'm gonna get into the real origin of Fangs, I suppose, a little bit. When I first started this channel, the closed captioning always, and maybe this is a precursor prophecy of Fangs, but the closed captioning always, when I said Rabyd Atheist, it would translate it rabbit, Rabbit, every like half the time. It very rarely got it right, maybe more than half the time. And then when I appeared on B.S. Lewis, I want to give B.S. Lewis a shout out. He did a thumbnail of the Tricks Rabbit and me saying, "No, I'm the Rabyd Atheist, not the Rabyd Atheist." And so that kind of idea was born. And then we, Earl and I got together and said, "Can we create a symbol for the channel that has a rabbit in it?" And lo and behold, we have. So there's that. So it's kind of it's one of those things that got there. And then we, of course, discussed where such a deity would come from. And the best thing that we could come up with is that the origin of Fangs is a demigod and the offspring of Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, leap be upon her, and another currently unnamed god. We don't know. There's a lot of speculation who the other god is that Lisa mated with, but we do have the eyewitness of a cranky elder god who says there's something unique about what Lisa does with her neck during procreation that is specific to the creation of Fangs. So we know that part. Thankfully, so far, Cranky hasn't gone into details. So there's that aspect of it. But Lisa, the rainbow giraffe, is one of the parents of Fangs. We just don't know the other parent. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely real. But hey, Brent, good to see you. Yeah, but the thing about this, the origin stories of gods, so many of them are just mythological and made up. It's just hilarious. And I figured that we should do that. There is a theory, a working theory, that at one time Lisa had black spots in addition to all her rainbow spots, which all disappeared at the moment of Fang's creation. This is why Fangs is often depicted as a cute black bunny. So, jokes. It comes to Fangs, never, of course. Oh. What proves Fangs? We made him up. He has more, Martin, we literally have more evidence for Fang's existence than Yahweh's. So, I mean, we were all here when Fangs came about. So there's that. So there's that. You like that reasoning? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think I ran with that theory about that Lisa once upon a time had black spots, but they all became part of Fangs when he was created. So that is a working theory of mine as the only true prophet of Fangs. So so there's that. But let's see. Part two. It is suspected, however, that Fang's other parent is a fertility god or goddess of some sort. But so far, all that is there remains speculative. Although the Egyptian pantheon has a ton of these, but there could be many possibilities. So, and I'm not discounting that Lisa and another female goddess could also produce something. So, anything's is the point. So there we have Fangs. Fangs is the product of some unnamed, probably fertility god, and Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, who once upon a time had black spots, which were all removed at the moment of Fangs' creation. So, in a sense, purifying Lisa from whatever corruption created Fangs as an agent of chaos that he is. We also have the fact, and this is not disputed, is that Fangs arrived on this mortal plane through a bolt of lightning that flashed from that realm to this realm. This is a non-debatable doctrine, as it was spoken by the true prophet of Fangs while wearing the holy bunny hat. So this is the one point of Fangsology that is not debatable, that it was a bolt of lightning that transferred Fangs from his realm to ours. So there's that. The drunken barn dance effect. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. We're not going to go into Lisa's, the rainbow giraffe, leave beyond her moral behavior, because we don't do that here. We don't shame anybody for their behavior. So particularly sexual behavior. I mean, we'll get into that in a little bit. So, yeah, big button grade. Yep. Yeah. When I test by the Spirit, leap be upon her that I have definitely 500% seen fangs. See, we're not getting into the religion because the religion is already gone. The religion of fangs has already gone in 5,000 directions already. Like it's really hard to follow. But yes, but the origins of fangs, that part can't be disputed that he came here by lightning. So that's your that is the one thing that is true doctrine in all versions of fangs. So there's that. So we have that. That's the origin. So what we have Demigod, Rainbow Giraffe, Lisa, Leap Be Upon Her, and an unnamed god who once upon a time had black spots, but now they've all become part of Fangs. Fangs' other parent is probably a fertility god of some sort. And Fangs arrived via lightning. So there's that. Yes, exactly. If you ask people in chat, they already have their own versions, Bren, of what this religion should be. The only thing that really holds it together is I'm the only one so far that's spoken with the bunny hat on. So that's what makes my stuff more powerful than theirs. True fact. So there's that. And let's see. Okay, Fangs' known powers. All right. I still love this artwork by Earl. This is still my favorite picture of Fangs. Looks a little menacing, but we all know that. But number one, we know that Fangs has multiplication powers. As the supposed child of a fertility god, Fangs is not only incredibly fertile, but can also duplicate him herself and be in several places at once. The limit to this is unknown. So yes. So there's that. So multiplication, both in the sense of being fertile and the ability to duplicate oneself in different places. Not omniscient. There's probably a limit to this, but omnipresent. But definitely can be in many, many different places at once in order to carry out his plans against various gardens, provide distractions on one side of the garden and while at the same time actually infiltrating somewhere else. Definitely a power that he needs. Speed. Fangs is incredibly fast, and it's unknown what his top speed is. So nobody's managed to get a radar gun on Fangs. So we don't know. We've seen black blurs indicating an incredible amount of speed, but we have no idea what the top speed of Fangs is. So there's that. And then morphing. Fangs can also morph his body into any known form of rabbit and can appear as different colors, but this causes discomfort to Fangs. So Fangs prefers the natural color of black and the little bits of white he has. So also Fangs, it can become invisible. Like every god, Fangs can completely disappear and have no evidence of his existence. So yes, that's kind of the point. In this regard, Fangs is like every other deity. That he can completely disappear and have no evidence of his existence. We were talking about this just a few moments ago on Saturday Night at the Atheist over at Dave's place at Captive Desk. And they were talking about, Romans 1:20, where, God's nature is declared to be invisible. Well, yeah, no shit. So fair, Evan. I don't know. UFOs. I mean, is some of the sightings of UFOs actually Fangs flying across the sky? In which case, we'd have to add flying to his known powers. Fangs has pretty decent powers. Speed, multiplication, and morphing are very useful. Being invisible is useful. But notice none of these involve like super strength or flying or anything like that. So mostly because Fangs doesn't really, unless there's an airborne garden, like the hanging gardens of Babylon come back, I don't know that he would need flying, but we'll create whatever powers he needs to do what he needs to do. So, really, okay, possible. It's possible. Independence Day. Yep, he could have been there. He could have been there. There's definitely places where he would fit. So, but that's some of his known powers. But yeah, it's like he can completely disappear and have no evidence of his existence. So there's that. So there's that. Oh. Fangs' mission. Fangs noticed immediately upon arrival to this realm that many vegetables and fruits were corrupted by religion. Fangs, upon arrival, immediately developed vampiric powers that removes this corruption from the fruits and vegetables. This action purifies the vegetables and fruits, but it does leave 2 marks on them, and thus the marks of Fangs are often the best sign that your vegetables and fruits are clean from this religious corruption. I should have probably put the vampiric in quotes because he doesn't really drink blood. Marinara, I understand, is pretty popular with Fangs. He likes marinara sauce, but that's part of the religion that's developing right now. So I may save that for a later episode. But there is some speculation as to how the vampiric powers work. So yes, that's me. Fangs have a nibble on your veggies. If you see 2 fang marks on your veggies, you know Fangs has been there. And so therefore that vegetable in particular is clean. You can also, pray for Fangs to purify the vegetables ahead of time. So, and we'll get into some of the commandments of Fangs later that will lead into probably next month I'll do the Fangs religion because there'll probably be another month's worth of stuff to write. Yeah, religion vampire, yes. Yes, beet juice could apply. Yep, definitely, Katie. Welcome, Katie. Good to see you. Good to see you. I understand. When I had a bunch of pets, and I have a son who has a bunch of dogs. When I go over there, yeah, I definitely can relate. But yes, beet juice. We haven't gotten into beets yet. There's a few vegetables we've dealt with directly. Carrots, yams, and let's see, what else have we done? Onions and tomatoes. So those are the 4 that we have information on directly. So there's that aspect of it. But yes, what you want to look for when you're picking out vegetables and fruits is 2 little marks about bunny-sized width, and bunny teeth, like a little bit, but pointy. So make sure that you're looking for that when you're buying out vegetables, so that you can know that your vegetables are truly free of religious corruption. Through an unfortunate incident, Fangs discovered that carrots are the only vegetables so far that are naturally pure due to their atheist nature. We discovered that carrots by nature are atheists. Carrots, after all, are, being a phallic symbol, more interested in other activities not related to religion, and in general don't harm anyone. So carrots are kind of the only pure vegetable, and Fangs discovered this by accident. That's why when we go back to the other one, the carrot is screaming. Here the yam is screaming too, but not in a much more angry manner. Yes. This is my explanation for why he's wearing the yarmulke. It's Fang's encounter with the yams was particularly distasteful, as it became clear this was the origin of all Abrahamic forms of corruption, and this almost overcame Fangs himself. This was his biggest struggle, that he almost became Jewish because he became a Jewish rabbit. Which would have created all kinds of contradictions, because I'm not sure, are rabbits clean in Judaism? I can't remember, but I think they might be an unclean animal, which would have made this little illustration even more funny. So there's that. But yes, but basically Fangs' mission is to find religious corruption, suck it out of the vegetable, and then poop it out in its true form. What it really is, and reveal it for its true form. So that's what Fangs' mission is. So are rabbits kosher? That's an easy search. Anybody want to do that search and quickly give us the results? Are rabbits kosher? So are they actually kosher or not? So, because this would make this picture even more funny if they're not. Or they are. One or the other, I don't know. It's funny in a different way, I guess. But I want to find that out. Are rabbits kosher? Okay, I want to talk about Fangs as a trickster god. Seems to be the most controversial part of Fangsology, as whether or not Fangs is a trickster god or not. Okay, they are not kosher. Okay, so guess what, Earl? This makes this picture of Fangs with a yarmulke even more funny. That the power of the corrupted yam was such that it almost overcame Fangs and turned him into a Jewish rabbit. And rabbits are not kosher. Oh, animals that have a split hoof and chew the cud to be considered clean, while rabbits do chew if they lack a divided hoof. This is true. So they are unclean. And Earl is shocked by this. Oh, this is the one close call that Fangs had in the theology, the Fangsology so far, is that he almost became a Jewish rabbit, which would have had a lot of humor to it. Oh, and Fangs is a trickster guy. Let's get back to this. But I'm starting to giggle over that idea. Oh man, Earl, when you did that picture, it was more funny than we thought. Okay, Fangs is classified as a fertility and trickster god. Sneaking into girl or guy rabbits' windows and that sort of thing. I think his fertility aspects stem from his rabbit nature, and it should be known that many of the vegetables and fruits he purifies are fertility symbols as well. The connection is obvious to anyone with a proper special revelation and a dirty mind. So there's that. Oh, hey, Merlin. Good to see you. You should rewind this. It's getting funnier as I go. The non-kosher rabbi rabbit. Yes, that's it. Yes, he is like Earl. Trickster god. Yeah, given that Earl is a trickster. Yeah, I got the reference. But yes, the fertility aspects are quite obvious. A lot of Fang's religion stems from this idea of him being a fertility god. So a lot of religious practice I've noticed has been oriented around that. So there's that. The trickster aspect is due to the nature of the conflict that he has with religion and the corruption faced by vegetables. And it's due to that particular religion and thus particular religious leaders that guards the garden where they are produced. And so Fangs has to find ways across the walls and into the gardens of various religions, despite the fact that they're guarded by religious leaders of that religion, despite the fact that they're inhabited by vegetables corrupted by religion. He has to find a way in because using his vampiric powers is a little bit time consuming and people often object to it. So there's that. So you have, we have a few documented pictures, which I'll show in a bit of Fangs at work and when he gets caught, and you can see that people are very not liking it when he gets caught. So you have this aspect of Fangs where, when he gets caught doing something wrong, he has to be, well, this is my nature. I'm a trickster god. I have to get past the defenses in order to do my work. And you guys just don't understand that. So there's that. Yeah. But there's that. But yeah. When's the children's book coming out, BS? I don't know. I'm trying to see. The thing is, BS, right now I'm trying to put together all the theology of Fangs, and then I have to deal with all the fact that there's been like a whole bunch of religious practice has already developed because of Fangs. And so I'm trying to figure out how but yes, a children's book about the misadventures of Fangs the bunny. So there's that. Oh, yes, coyote, you're a trickster as well. I don't know. We could probably come up with a co-deity of a coyote and have coyote and Fangs be buddies. So we can do that. Obey. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. Yeah. So that's another one closer to the goal. But thank you very, very much. I appreciate the support. Yeah. Turn up for what? Oh my goodness. Um, hey, Iron. Good to see you. Uh, home, hair, rabbit, home. See, this is what I'm talking about. BS. The way this has gone off the rails has just been hilarious to me, and just illustrates how religions form and how they divide. And we've done this, between the spaghetti monster, Lisa the rainbow giraffe, leap be upon her, and now Fangs and many others. I think we've illustrated how absurd religion can get, and we're just using the tactics that religions have used for literally millennia, to get past critical thought. And Fangs as a trickster god, I think fits because when you look at like Yahweh, he's definitely like a war god and not necessarily a trickster god, but he's kind of an asshole. But at least a trickster god um, is trying to get away with it without getting caught. So I hate you. hate you. The EU. Oh, I don't worry about the EU. You guys do what you want. Uh, Fang's powers, while impressive, have to be deployed with cleverness and stealth at times to achieve his objectives. So there's that. Um, you can multiply yourself as much as you want, but the walls are four sided, and you have to figure out ways past them. You can be invisible. You can be all those things. Have super speed, and you still have to want to. Most of his powers are very stealthy. Being invisible and moving at a high rate of speed would be very stealthy. You kind of have to picture Fangs as this fertility god that zips in and out, just like a rabbit on a date. That's kind of the way it works. That's his very nature. So, these actions are often misunderstood by observers, but know that Fangs is fighting to remove corruption from your vegetables and fruits, corruption that is caused by religion. So, no matter how evil Fangs seems, just remember that he is working for your good. I'm using a playbook right out of Yahweh there. So I'm doing what Yahweh would do. So as far as propagandizing himself, so no matter what you think of Fangs and his actions, his vampiric powers, his ability to sneak into stuff and do things, and all of that stuff, yeah, it's all due to the fact that he is a trickster god, and so we have that aspect of it where he is working for our good, but he has to use methods that are a little trickstery at times. So just keep that. Just keep that. So you love the tomato pope. Yeah, I'm kind of fallen in love with the tomato pope too. I think this is the latest emoji of the tomato pope right here, and so it should be available to members. Um, so, but yeah, this is like the latest one. I think it shows up pretty well. It looks like it's showing there. So yes, it's an angry red pope. Yes, we switched to Catholicism. We were going to do Pentecostals, but then they elected a new pope, and we figured it was more appropriate to go after the Catholics for a bit. So we came up with the tomato pope. So let's see. Just for the record, rabbits do like horse feed, and wild rabbits who took my mare's food away from. Oh, they do. So we're dealing. See, I agree with you, Katie, about rabbits being tricksters in general by nature. It's not just rabbits are sneaky buggers. Okay, they don't like to be seen. They don't like to be seen doing what they're doing. Like when they're trying to steal food or get food or whatever, they will be very, very tricksterish. So I have no problem believing Fangs is a trickster god because he's a rabbit. Okay, rabbits just they are very, very, very sneaky when it comes to that. And when they get caught, they go into that blinding speed. They just run away. So everything about a rabbit is kind of sneaky, fertility, speed kind of thing, doing things stealthily and quickly and getting out of there. Perfect symbol for any thieves guild, to be honest. I remember when, what was it, the gangs in New York, one of the gangs was the Dead Rabbits. And there was something about that spoke to me about rabbits. Yeah. So there's that. Don't do that to a Brit. Okay, there we go. Right. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, yes. Leading into the religion, I wanted to go over the commandments of Fangs that were so graciously provided by the prophetess I killed Earl. So this is her revelation, and I agree with it. So, AEEE, good to see you. You're just in time for the 10 commandments of Fangs. Boinking at rabbit speed may be hazardous to your health. Okay, there we go. That's probably a fair warning for humans. Yeah, it could get you killed in multiple ways. Or at least you won't be on the date list next time. So, what's the fun of boinking without danger? I don't know. Speed is not necessarily something that boinking would be. Hassenpfeffer? I think he might. See, that's the debatable thing about the foods that are acceptable Fangs. I want to get into that with the second commandment here. Because I think, see, the thing about the commandments of Fangs is they can be interpreted so many different ways, Cranky, that I don't I don't see how, Hassenpfeffer, I don't know. Yeah, so there's that. But yes, but yeah, I think the idea of holy foods, what's holy to Fangs or not, might be answered by the commandments. But we'll have to see. Let's see. A question about David and the 5 pebbles thing. He took 5 pebbles to account for retaliation of Goliath. So how is killing Goliath considered a miracle of God? I don't know. I don't actually see a miracle in that story, Kyle, because I've seen some pretty incredible things with weapons where, a big armored whatever dude has a weakness or a weak point. That's a common trope in combat. Like, there's always a weakness. And David just is a really good shot with a slingshot from practice. That's not a miracle. So I don't really think it's a miracle from God for that reason. Fangs has better miracles. So than that, but I don't really consider that a miracle story, other than people will say that it was by the power of God that he overcame Goliath, and that's what the song is afterwards. But I don't know. I've never really considered that a miracle story, other than it was more of a Christian conflict story. So, but getting back to the commandments of Fangs, let's see. The first one is, thou shalt not worship any gods before Fangs or after Fangs, or even worship Fangs himself. Unlike other gods, he is not a narcissist. Okay, so understand. I open Ed, my disclaimer. Yes, I know. I forgot to put your disclaimer in, but I can grab it. I can grab that. I'll read it off. But it's like, yeah. I think actually, though, Earl, your 10 commandments list has plenty of disclaimers in it, especially the 10th commandment is kind of there. It really is a good disclaimer to the commandments in general. So it was pretty good. You're not trying to tell anybody how to live. I get that. So I did forget though, but don't worry, I'll read it out loud. But yeah, he's not a narcissist. Fangs knows the limitations of his power. He's not interested in worship. He has a mission to do, and he appreciates your help. And that's about it. So you can pray to him. He does a service for you. So, leave your carrots out for him on certain holy days, particularly Easter. Make sure you leave the carrots out. So, so there's that. Okay, well, let's get into the second commandment because it deals actually with a food. And we'll see if there's some some correlation maybe that we can get for whiskey. I'm down with whatever holy drink there is, as long as it's got alcohol in it. I'm good. I think that as a fertility god, Fangs would definitely be for alcoholic beverages because sometimes that helps. Um, not not against anybody's will or anything. Everything consensual, but but then the second command is, thou shalt not eat corrupted vegetables unless anointed and purified with ranch dressing. And this is where, like all the commandments of any religion, you can add interpretive license to what it means by ranch dressing. Does that mean it's like ranch dressing, like the type of dressing, or does it mean that it's a form of dressing made on a ranch? Okay, so anything made on a ranch then could be considered a holy purifier. Then, so I think it makes it a little bit nebulous as to what that means. So subject to interpretive license. So if your whiskey or whatever your favorite alcohol is produced on a ranch, that could be considered purification. So or consumed on a ranch. I mean, if you're on a ranch, you could do whatever you want. Thank you, Earl. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, but nom 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 nom. Yes, all that is holy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Earl. I also appreciate your artwork. You've made this channel much brighter because of it. Just absolutely much more fun. Fangs, Easter is a holy day. I could get into that right now a little bit. If there is any rabbit symbolatry associated with something, it's either a precursor of Fangs is coming. It is a statement that that product is somewhat holy in some respect. So Easter, with its absolute overabundance of rabbit imagery, is definitely a holy day of Fangs. So that's that. Actually, you might say that Fangs has a holy season because Easter is usually in April, and then it goes into May and May Day, and all the spring fertility festivals of the pagans usually have rabbit symbolatry too. So that whole season, really, springtime is really Fangs's high season. So there's that kind of aspect to it too. So make sure that's that. But yes, but going back to Cranky's question, then, if the whiskey is produced on a ranch, I would say that it is holy whiskey and can be used to purify and your vegetables and yourself. So there you go. Because that does deal with the issue of, like, if we're going to have vegetables being corrupted and you accidentally eat corrupted vegetables, how do you purify yourself from that? And so I would say holy whiskey produced on a ranch would work. You just have to find out which ones are produced by a ranch. So, or you could be on a ranch and consume them, as Evan pointed out. So possibly you have to baptize vegetables before human consumption. Rabbits can do it without baptism because rabbits are more naturally holy. So from a Fangsology point of view, I can see that. See, I'm doing theology here, so I'm trying to make up the thing that'll best fit. So there's that. Oh. Yeah, it does. It works. See, the thing is, Martin, you can make anything work in a religion. Just work at it hard enough. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Religions often have practice before they have theology. They start doing something, and then once they get doing it, they have to justify it with their holy books or whatever, or their religious doctrine, and so they go and do it. So yeah, that 6.969 does work. You can do 6 9s into ad infinitum with a rabbit cult. So, there's always wine sauce on your veggies. If it's produced by a company, isn't Hidden Valley Ranch, like, isn't that the name? Hidden Valley. So Hidden Valley might be considered a holy company because they do ranch dressing. Any company that does ranch dressing, like you could say if it's connected to a ranch dressing producer, then it might also be acceptable. So any dressing produced by that company that also produces ranch dressing might be good. So I Earl, I love your stuff. I absolutely love your stuff. I know it keeps you out of trouble, and I do YouTube to kind of sort of stay out of trouble. Seems like it keeps finding me though. So there's that. But yes, but I think when it comes to food and stuff and drink and everything, it's really just simply the ranch connection. Okay, and is it considered a dressing maybe of some sort? If it's used as a dressing or it's produced by a ranch or eaten on a ranch or has ranch in the name of the company that produced it, it's all good. So let's see, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's rabbit or garden or neighbor's rabbit's garden. It's the only, I swear is this the only thought crime we have, Earl? Is to not covet your neighbor's rabbit? It seems like very niche thought crime, which I approve of, by the way, but you can't covet their garden. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work for some people. We could do like they do with the graven images and Yahweh worship and just completely ignore this one. So, yes, idle hands are the somethings workshop. Yeah, I can't remember. It's a fictitious character, so I'm not sure that the saying works. So, hey, John, good to meet you. We're having fun tonight, so just enjoy that. Consider Hidden Valley pretty holy, at least if you have a divine revelation for it. Yeah, I mean, so we can talk about hidden valleys in more ways than one. I'll leave that rest of that discussion to your imagination. The Hidden Valley might be equal in Fangsology to the Garden of Eden. What the Hidden Valley references also might be debatable in Fangsology. What is the Hidden Valley? Exactly. The problem with Fangs being a fertility god is the references to fertility stuff automatically have to be taken into consideration. So Hidden Valley also is one of those. So some of you will get the joke eventually. Okay, but I think we're going to label that one as one of those commandments that you can indeed just straight up ignore, much like the commandment in the 10 commandments for Yahweh that says, don't make any graven images or any images or likeness. The Catholic Church and many other variants of that use that as their holy 10 commandments ignore that on a regular basis, so we can too. So there's that. I think it's a good one. I think we'll have to work that in somehow, that Hidden Valley is somehow related to the Garden of Eden in a similar way. So, thou shalt subscribe to Ed, our benevolent dictator, keeper of the fangs lore, and wearer of silly hats. I'm going to say that that's the strongest commandment in this list because it personally benefits me. So there's that. Let's see. Thou shalt attend all live streams and keep these days holy. I also approve of this commandment because it benefits me the greatest. So, so yeah. Yep, definitely. Oh my goodness. How did I know this was going to go south in my brain so quickly? Number 6 says, thou shalt freely and repeatedly take the Lord Fang's name in vain. This is done on purpose. You should do Fangs, for Fang's sake and, for the love of Fangs and all that stuff, because it makes everything you say once you invoke the name of Fangs into a prayer. I have never understood why Yahweh is against this. Seems like a dick God to be against taking your name in any form or context, because then it makes everything, it purifies everything. And to Fangs, sure, take my name in vain because it purifies the discussion. So, yes, it's a sacred place of fertility, yes. Gosh, where was I? I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the euphemism used by the Vikings is, I'm going to go plow her field, so to speak. So, you have a good plow to plow my field, I think, is one of the girls says, something similar to that. So there's that. So we're going to have to work that. We're going to have to work that in. So there's that. Yes, fangs bite it. Yes, yes, fangs bite it. There you go. There's a good one. So there's that. Thou shalt ridicule and challenge all religions by giving believers the good news of Fangs. Yes, Fangs is an atheist deity, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure he believes in himself. He's like atheism, he doesn't believe in himself. So, in a sense that he doesn't believe in his own reality. So there's that aspect of it. But Fangs is, just like Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe and her entire mythos and the flying spaghetti monster, I will gladly volunteer Fangs as another way to illustrate the absurdity of religion and belief in God. So there's that. I don't know what is true chaos. You define it. I mean, what would, if chaos is just the forces of change, I mean, for those of you who know the Elder Scrolls universe, you have like the Daedra, which are the forces of change, and the Aedra, which are the forces of law and order and that sort of thing. And there's a constant battle between the two, where people try to maintain what's good, but at the same time, change is necessary for other things. So it's, view Fangs in those terms. He's an agent of chaos, change, removing of what he perceives as corruption. I don't know. I always found like the Elder Scrolls Pantheon. What's the Daedric Prince? The Meridia. The one with that hates vampirism and the undead. So she's always sending her purifying light, so to speak. There's that aspect of it, but Fangs is just more funny and less serious about it. So yes, every time Fangs deals with a different corruption of a vegetable, it kind of affects him different ways, because the corruption is going to go into his stomach in different ways and change his appearance. Think Mystique from the Marvel universe, like every time she has to deal with something, she has to switch her form. And Fangs is very much the same way every time he deals with corruption. So, Schroeder's daily, yes. No, they don't. As a fertility deity, he's not so much into eternal life as the propagation of life. So, the more life, the better. We could argue with Fangs about that, but he's kind of set in his way. So there's that. So you can do that. But yes, giving people the good news of Fangs is a good way to challenge religion, because Fangs is about getting rid of religious corruption. So I think I need 5 more. Actually, speaking of emojis, and seeing Earl is here, I have like 4 preliminary member emojis that I think I'm going to ask Earl to at some point replace. Like the first 4 emojis are like the atheist green circle. I could replace that with like Fangs clapping, and then we need probably a Fangs thumbs up, Fangs thumbs down, and Fangs head slap emojis, and I would replace those with her whenever she gets around to it. I don't put pressure on my artist. I'm always happy when she puts enough pressure on herself when she's being creative, so I leave her alone. So all right. Oh, so that's why you asked. Thank you very much. Let's see. Godless Doctor, Donald Dawson, Master Blick, Sunny Blue, and Distrocating all received gifted memberships from Triple E. Thank you very much, Triple E. I appreciate you so much. That the more memberships we have, the more emojis we're going to continue to create. So, and they're all going to be Fangs related. So, because he is the mascot of my channel now. So, yeah, see. Yeah, I don't think that one would take you very long either, Earl. I don't think that one would take very long. It's just putting his face and then a couple of hands on it. So just kind of look at the emojis we have and just replace them with fangs. So I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah. See, you have fans, Earl. You have fans. So Thanksgiving, I have no idea. Um, see, we have a fertility god here. So let's go with, why don't we say, because we're trying to do what all religions do, which is take over other holidays. So let's make Thanksgiving maybe Valentine's Day, because that makes sense. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe we can take over another holiday with that, because that's a little close to Easter. I'd like something like September, October, maybe. Um, last Thursday of Fanguary. That might work. That might work. That might work, Chuck. I think that would be. Yeah. So there's that. Yes, he takes the bite out of corruption. Yes. Or correctly, the Aedra is simply the spirits who sacrificed for their power to create the universe, inhabited, and the Daedra didn't. Yes, and that's kind of my point. Like, because I don't, like when I play the Elder Scrolls as a character, like my last character when I played Skyrim, um, basically was, I had him be, in a sense, an atheist. He didn't view any of these powers as gods, but just as forces of power. And so he didn't view the Daedra or Aedra as good or evil. He just like viewed them for what they did. It was a fun role play, by the way, through that game, by the way. But that's kind of how I view Fangs. He's like, it's not so much about good or evil to him. It's just that he sees the negative effect that religion causes to the vegetables and to the people that eat them. So, and to the fruit too. We go after fruit a little bit too, because there's some things that are like, I'm not sure what to do with the fruits yet, other than to make them like, instead of being religions, maybe like spiritualized cultic type beliefs, that don't necessarily have a deity attached to them. So, but yes, so there's that. Yeah, it could be Fanguary. Last Thursday in Fanguary. We might do that. Yeah, they make a lot of mistakes, and I think one of these days I have a video that I'm still writing the script for, but I keep getting bogged down because it's like I want to talk about the everyday effects of religion that are negative, that are constant and continual, and I don't want to just like talk about the wars and the Inquisitions. I want to talk about how modern day religion just negatively impacts our life just because. Okay, and so I'm trying to say that. Yes, exactly. I know. I know you will go fast enough as whatever. So there's that. Is there a bunny Fang? Does Fangs have a female counterpart, partner, wife? Um, I don't know. See, that's the debatable thing about Fangs, because he is a you know has multiplication powers, and he can appear as either sex. I use he because you can identify Fangs whatever way you want. Um, but because he has multiplication powers, he could multiply himself as a female rabbit and procreate that way without a partner. So there's a new sexual orientation for you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there you go. September 7th. We'll consider it, Evan. A holy day for fun. I think we need something in the fall. Like Valentine's Day has what is that? What's the one in October where they do something like Valentine's Day? Sweetest Day. Yeah, in the United States at least. I don't know about everywhere else, but they do the kind of do Valentine's Day in October kind of thing. So that might be kind of what. So he's kind of amoral. I don't think I mean, he's trying to root what he views as corruption from religion, because it has bad effects. I don't say we'd say Fangs is amoral. It's just he's not really overly particular about the means. He won't kill anybody to get what he wants done. other than the vegetables, but he won't kill any human. But at the same time, he's not always picky about the means as a trickster god of getting things done. So there's that. My suggestion, crank it up to 11. Transcend blasphemy of fangs. Oh, yeah, he's either polyamorous or asexual, and he can do that with himself because he has multiple. He can multiply himself. So, so there's that. Yeah. Gender something. He expresses, he, she, whatever expresses themselves as whatever they want to be at that moment. So, I mean, that's why I use the Daedric Prince for those of you who know the Elder Scrolls, because the Daedric Princes can appear as male or female or even completely neutral. They just have a preferred form that they usually have, and that's kind of the way Fangs works. So he can do whatever he wants. So he's everywhere, nowhere. Yes, like a lot of other gods. He can't keep up. He's been through a lot of operations. He does a lot of the operations himself, so that's another problem. Yes, the fucker, the fucky, and the fucking. Auto polyamorous. Well, there we go, Michael. You've created. Is that a new word? Is that literally like a new word? You heard it here first on the Rabyd Atheist. Yes, there are many more male atheists than female atheists. There's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of the one I heard, I think, from a subscriber once was that as a female atheist, she understood it because as a mother, the thought of not being able to see your kids again is a very emotionally driven thing to have an afterlife belief. So there, it is hard to become an atheist if you don't, if you don't want to discard your afterlife beliefs. So, yeah, I would actually, if you could pull women in such a way that they could be actually honest about it, I think you would find it's probably pretty equal to what the men is. The men are just more vocal about it. Give thanks to thanks. Yeah, he's kind of the incarnation of the word fuck. Yes. I will buy that. I will, you know what? I will actually make that a doctrine. Okay. Martin, I will absolutely make that a doctrine on Fangs. Hold on. Got to make this official. Although I will have to probably censor that word on a regular basis. But we're going to say that Fangs is the incarnation of the word fuck. And that's going to be official because I said it with the funny hat on. Okay, the holy bunny hat, and me make it official. So there's that. Congratulations, Martin. You're now part of Fangsology officially. So there you go. And all of its derivatives, by the way, like fuckery, whatever. Whatever way you want to use that word, you can use it. All right, you can use it. Okay, it and all of its parts of speech. So Fangs is the incarnation of that word and all of its derivatives. So there we go. Yeah, it's whatever sex suits them at the moment. I love the Daedra for that effect. Really, it messes up theists that play the game, by the way. I've actually had that argument. Hey, Ashera. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Cranky, exactly. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Ooh, yes. Dang, damn it. Fucker is my favorite F word. Yeah, me too. Yes, that's a blessing from Fangs. There you go. It's official. I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the silly hat. So there we go. Oh, Bang, bang. There you go. I love the Daedra too. My favorite character in playing is Skyrim was the last one I did, where the guy is just, my character is just like a Elder Scrolls atheist. I said, how do you do that? Because these deities actually have proof of their existence and they actually show up and do stuff. But I said, well, he could like not worship them as gods, like he doesn't worship anything. And that was a very interesting playthrough to do, by the way. Some holy fangery, yes. Oh, yeah, Kyle, we have good chats here. I don't know. Yes, yes. Shiogoro will have fun with your Dovahkiin, yes. Hey, Hurricane. Oh, where are we? Oh, yes. Number 8, I think somebody already remarked on the 8th commandment, thou shalt not nibble upon your neighbor. I don't know if I like this command. Only your neighbor's wife. You can tell Earl wrote these. What are you saying, Earl? I need the interpretation of the prophetess at this point. You can't nibble upon your neighbor, but only your neighbor's wife. Yeah, acquiring minds want to know, what about your neighbor's sister? Is that legal? Your neighbor's brother? You gonna nibble with their sister? Oh, I don't know. I don't like prohibitions against things. That's my problem. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know. Your neighbor's brother's wife is fair game. Oh, what about your neighbor's brother? I mean, yeah, thou shalt always witness with protection. Yeah, I guess. I have a different 11th rule, but 11th commandment. I'm going to be, as an aside and an announcement, I'm starting writing a series of videos on the 10 commandments, and it was all inspired by this one, the commandments of Fangs, and I ended up running into a couple other videos about the commandments, and I'm going to take the commandments one at a time. And first I have to do an introduction about the commandments, because there's like 4 different lists of commandments that consider the 10 commandments. So like all of the commandments in history, we can edit them. How about this? How about a commandment that basically allows you to nibble whoever you want to nibble? Nom nom on anybody. You're not interested in his wife, you're going after the neighbor as you're a straight female. Yeah, I get that. I'm a straight male, so the neighbor's wife doesn't bother me a bit. But one of my neighbors is female, so spouse increases the odds. There we go. That might be fair. We can edit that one. That the beauty of the 10 commandments is they've been edited, so that sets our precedent to edit our own commandments too. Clouded, you're thinking you're bi. Okay. I kind of figured, based on the way you talk. You're into just, general nibbling. So consensual nibbling. Yes. I think it should have something about thou shalt not nibble on your neighbor or his wife without their consent, maybe. Let's put a consent command in there somewhere, Earl. The 8th command is perfect for that. We can make it a consent command. Thou shalt not nibble on anyone without their consent. So there we go. Let's see. Yeah, we got to do the nibblery. Yeah. Yeah, but definitely nibbles. Thou shalt not nibble on anyone without their consent, might be a better way of putting it. There. We can tag team the marriage. There you go. There you go. Breeding in somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think the problem with Fangs as a fertility god, I think the breeding is kind of like inherent to the religion. It's kind of just there. The holidays kind of point at that, like Easter and you know all those other things. So any day that involves fertility or something of that matter, I think will definitely indicate that that's kind of there. So, but yeah, it's like I think that changing it to don't nibble on somebody unless you have their consent kind of language would be great. So, number 9, thou shalt not deprive any onion babies of their binkies or fangs of his carrots. That's fair. Mostly, I don't want them to be deprived of their binkies because I don't like to hear onions cry. It's a very sad, distasteful sound that finds your spinal cord, so you don't want to hear onion babies cry in the first place. So binkies are just a good protective one. Yes, I can. And you know what? They can ask questions. I like to use Saturday streams for a little fun. I don't like to be as serious as I am on the weekdays because there's too much of that on the internet with atheist channels as it is. They get there and they get serious. And I think we're doing more to beat up religion tonight than we've done at any other time in the channel's history because I'm absolutely using the argument absurdum tonight. Like I have done every thing to demonstrate how religions are absurd tonight that I possibly can think of in a short broadcast about fangs. But we have to, like Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe and the Flying Spaghetti Marker, we have to set the record firmly crooked. So, yeah, Evan loves it. I love it too. Yeah, this is not my normal, just so you know. But when I created Fangs as the mascot for the channel, the real reasons being that the closed captioning has always translated Rabyd Atheist as Rabyd Atheist. B.S. Lewis, I don't know if he's still here, but he came by but he's the first one that kind of got me onto the idea of having a mascot that's a rabbit. And then I went to Earl with it, and here we are. Here we are. It's like it's been a growing thing to illustrate the absurdities of religion over and over and over again. That is not being serious, is that? Yeah, probably. That's probably true. But Saturdays, I tend to be a little bit more laid back. Honestly, I think people need to see atheists as real people. And I've noticed that a lot of like former YouTubers 5 years ago have gone to live streaming to do that, like to show that they're real people. Because the accusation is constant, like we're just all, Mr. Spock, rational people that just don't have any heart or feelings or anything like that, don't face any human struggles. Yeah, I think streaming gets rid of that pretty well. The fact that I'm wearing a bunny hat, kind of gets that issue there. Nibblery is a sacred ceremony, by the way. I mean, after all, Fangs is a fertility god, so nibbling, being nibbles, and being nibbled and nibbling is a sacred act. So there's that. And welcome. Informed consent was first used in the medical field and is considered fundamental to ethics and laws regarding patient rights. Okay, there we go. And sympathy. Saw that I only called deep pain. I saw my symbols being mocked, but I had immense empathy. Oh, welcome. That's very poetic, by the way. Let's see, number 10. And this also comes with Earl's disclaimer that Fangs never really tells anybody what to do. Thou shalt choose to ignore any of these commandments if thou feel so inclined. Go forth and engage in fuckery, because we know that's just being Fangs. don't be a twat waffle. Fangs is an agent of chaos. He approves. Okay, so exactly as much evidence for Fangs. Yes, Fangs has as much evidence for him as any other god. That's why we're going to change that commandment E, because it does create some relational problems. Like if you do live there an lesbian couple, and they're both technically wives, then who do you nibble? Martinoff is the solution, both, I guess. So there you go. But yes, I think the disclaimer is that we're having fun here. We're not. I do this to illustrate the absurdity of religion in general. Like a lot of religion is made up. I'm doing Fangsology as a spoof of theology, which I was a theologian for years. I have a master's degree in theological studies. And I used to do this kind of thing to justify Yahweh and Jesus and everything else. And now I can use the same reason with a made up character like Fangs. My disclaimer is Fangs is not a real god. It's a god that I use to illustrate a lot of things. Like I think, as Bren pointed out, my favorite troll in this whole presentation is Fang's known powers. Number 4, invisibility. Like every god, Fangs can completely disappear and have no evidence of his existence. So that's kind of why that's in. I had to take a Benadryl because of the reaction I had to a bug bite in my partner asked if I saw a man with a top hat. Apparently, with Benadryl. Oh, you should show him. It would make his night. Make their night. Make your partner's night right there. Oh, there you go. I'm not sure if you're led here, but I'm glad you're here. I get it. People want to hold. I held on to my religion for 40 years, and for various different emotional reasons. But I find I have a lot more clarity of thought, and it's not foggy anymore with ideas that I can't prove. So there's that. But yes, there's always we'll have to put the asterisk on the bottom of this with our disclaimer. Okay, there we go. So there you go. Man with the top hat is here. And not only that, the top hat has a band with a bow tie and 2 rabbit ears, and it's purple. It's a purple top hat as well. So, yeah, I mean, like a lot of people that are here spent decades in religion and believing the same ridiculous stuff that I'm doing here tonight with Fangs. Fangs, as I just saw an opportunity to have a mascot. I do it. Fangs is my mascot of my channel, graciously created by I Killed Earl, who is a fabulous artist. I love her artwork. Makes me giggle every time, and it's also well done, beautifully done. When I get into the next presentation of Fangsology, it'll probably be about the religion more, and we'll talk about different aspects of religion that don't make any sense, and I can illustrate that with absurd arguments too. White tears. I don't know. See, I don't know. Is it polka dots or is it? Yeah, it is. Well, no, it's more of a checkered thing. So not polka dots. So your first time convert to a religion. Oh, I made a religion that actually might work. And then I don't know. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me move the new edited Commandments of Fangs over, and I'll show you that one. But yes, yes. Oh, is this the new one? All right, there we go. Thou shalt not engage in nibbling upon another without full and enthusiastic consent of all parties who wish to engage in nibbling. Outstanding. I'll go with it. It runs. Oh, hey, how's the damn show these days? Yeah, it's kind of hard to see that way. I had to increase the size, but yeah, it's like the checkered thing. Yeah. I'm here. Let me briefly remove that. Now you can kind of see that it's checkered. There we go. But yeah, so there's the Commandments of Fangs revised, second edition. Just kind of like the Ten Commandments, second edition in Deuteronomy. There's a second edition of the Ten Commandments. Yes. Yeah, it's official now. It's an official revised version of the Commandments of Fangs. So the Commandments of Fangs are now official, and they are dogma. So there you go, including the 10th commandment, especially the 10th commandment. You got to read through the whole list. Yeah, it's how I do that. You got to have a really cool hat to have a cool religion. And I mean, just look at the Catholics. I think they've survived for years simply because there's certain people that love the priest and monk cosplay, and so they just go for it. I think that's why Catholicism survives. I mean, and every like Eastern Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, the Jews, like every religion seems to have this cool hat, and I don't think you can be a true religion without a cool hat. So we have one too. So yeah, have you ever fanged up? Yes, there you go. Yeah, I dropped the first set of commandments. They fell on the floor and broke, so we had to revise them. Outstanding, Michael Wolf. Nice pickup there. Yeah, they do wear the best dresses too. I don't know if I'm going to go that far yet. Um, mm, I don't know about that. Um, yeah, there's always something to give clarity, but I'm not. Somebody who was a pastor for 20 years, I can tell you that 100% of the time I was pretty unclear about things. I was just you got to understand when you listen to a pastor preach. I do it automatically now because I used to be one. I just straight up see the bullshit in every sermon. Like it's like you're literally like, dude, you're making that up. You're just expressing your opinion, and because you're doing it from a pulpit, people are taking it seriously, way too seriously, and that's probably my biggest problem. Okay, cleaned up. Oh, yep. And we'll save that one as disclaimer, assuming I know how to spell. I can upload that real quick. I'm getting better at this, by the way, people. There we go. I'll say, upon request from my loyal YouTube chat member, I've compiled a list of commandments, fragments, if you will, listed below. Fragments are not binding and are subject to change, but you consult your skeptical brain before agreeing to any religious doctrine. If you experience blind faith for more than 4 hours, stop what you're doing and immediately seek medical attention. Neither I killed Earl nor the Rabyd Atheist, and the Rabyd Atheist responsible for injuries caused by fits of giggles. Entanglements are followed at your own risk. There you go. We have the commandments of fangs, and we have the disclaimer to said fang damnments. There we go. There you go. See, the problem I have as a follower of fangs is carrots. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yeah, I do. I take whatever I can get. I'm looking. I've been spending like a couple months looking at the channel as a way to be a true, genuine, like side hustle for me and a sense of finances. So, um, as a former pastor who can't pastor anymore because I don't believe in God. Um, I've lost that ability to have that as a side hustle anymore. So working my other job is my steady income that pays the bills. And this one kind of allows me to move the dial on a lot of things that I need to move the dial on. Um, thanks for all of you. And it also allows me to get my message out a little bit farther in my story. So perfect disclaimer is perfect. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So there's that. She's looking for the door into summer. Okay. Uh, boy, can I take? I'm I'm a Robert Heinlein fan, so I know the book reference, but I also know the other reference. Yes, I'm. Yes, yeah. You got to take it for what they're worth. Yeah, you're just not. I'm not really good at being a grifter. I really am. The problem when I was in the ministry is I was way too honest about things, and I got into trouble with the Assemblies of God a lot because one, I became an open theist, which they weren't sure about, but I had a regular habit of like questioning the 16 fundamental truths, and they didn't like that. So there's that. Yes, hit the like button, please. I always appreciate that. Yeah, it made chocolate all hail fangs. So if a religion involves chocolate rabbits, you're down. Is that what we're saying? Oh, chocolate covered carrots. There we go. Oh, oh my good. Oh, I'm trying to get my coworker who said I was going to watch a channel. He said maybe. Okay. I mean, he's going to run into broadcasts like this, but he's almost certainly welcome to watch and ask questions, especially on Tuesday. Tuesday is really open for him. And the funny thing about theists is they don't come to that one in Triple E. They try to get into the deconversion hangout all the time and make things difficult for me. Yes, there's multiple troubles with the Assemblies of God. I was an Assembly of God pastor for about 10 years. I was ordained in them. Um, but I used to get in trouble because the 16 fundamental truths are what you have to believe in order to be a pastor. And I had a lot of trouble with a lot of them. Starting with the Bible's the inspired, verbally inspired word of God. I'm like, well, even as a Christian, I'm like, verbally, really? Are you sure you want to go there? So, yeah, it doesn't really. You have to kind of lie to yourself a lot. That's what I got over is lying to myself. That's the hardest part about deconverting is lying to yourself. Um, Realizing you spend a lot of time lying to yourself, like trying to fool yourself. So there's that. Uh, Feast of the First Nibbles. Oh boy, I don't know, Earl. We're gonna have to come up with like we need a holiday. We needed to go above and beyond as a religion and have like a holiday every month, like like the Jews. If you look at the Jewish holiday calendar, it's full, like from the beginning to the end. They have feasts for everything. We need to have like a feast of first nibbles, feast of last nibbles, uh, feast of middle nibbles, feast of general nibbling, something, you know. No, I don't remember if I had to follow Chicago doctrine. I mostly had to follow the doctrine of the Assemblies of God. And when I became an independent congregationalist, the only doctrinal statement I had to guide me was that of my one church. And it was so generally Christian, anybody could have joined. It was almost Unitarian. So I think that's because they do that. They think that if they come to the deconversion hangout, they can basically sabotage somebody's deconversion. I think that's why they do it. You got thrown out for something. Yeah, they'll do that. If you're gay, they'll throw you out. They don't. See, that's why when I did last week, I did, is the Pope too woke? It's like, they're still not going to allow gay marriage. They're still not going to allow gay people in the pulpit. They're still not going to allow women in the pulpit. It's like, how is that woke? I don't get it. So, I mean, apparently speaking about having compassion for your fellow man is woke now, but there you go. Then it would become, well, it's kind of happening actually. Toma, I'm not trying to, but like, this is part of the game of telephone. The doctrines of Fangs will be corrupted within a day, maybe less than an hour. That's kind of my point. A lot of religions and denominations are just a big cosmic game of some holy leader in the past said something, and now everybody is playing a game of telephone with it for over hundreds of years. And yep, so there you have it. Nibble as you have yourself nibbled. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna continue to edit the commandments. So, just like in real life they were edited. That's going to be kind of one of my points with my series. But one of the things that I hear all the time from Christian nationalists is the 10 Commandments are the basis of modern law, and I'm like, how? So, and that's kind of going to be my point of that one. If Assembly of Fangs will turn into gang nibblery, kids, this is what religion does to you. You could just make a new set. It worked for Jesus. I mean, he boiled it down to 2 commandments and made a new set. So there you go. Been drip feeding my preteen with Bible facts, and today it was that we don't know who wrote the Gospels, and none of them were written down for decades. Yes, that is a fact. The Duggites? Well, with the Duggites, but Fangs will prevail. Yes, we will do that. Fangs will prevail. He's a trickster god, so he's not looking at how to do his thing conventionally. He's not into like brute force. He's into trickery. So, Shakespeare, what nibblery is this? Yeah, we can literally make multiple. Here's the encouragement from me, the high priest of Fangs. Make up your own 10 commandments list and email it to me. I will gladly read them, and if they're really good, I'll put them on air. I'll take the best commandments that you guys send me via my email link is in the video description. So it's on the channel too. So you can always email me. So, but if you have an idea for a commandment, based on Fangs, you can always send that to me. So, but there's that. So, I think we made enough for the hat reveal, the other hat. So it's time to stop being like speaking officially for the Fangs at the moment and go back to normal fuckery. So BS did suggest a children's book, The Adventures of Fangs. That was such a good idea that, once we get a lot more artwork, I think that'll happen. Yeah, she can always. Earl loves chat because it feeds her creative juices. So there's that. It makes things go better. It does me too because I get a lot of ideas from you guys. You guys are good ideas. But this hat is a little bit more serious than the other one I was wearing tonight. But I realize that in all my collections of hats, I have a couple patriotic ones. And I got some Godfather ones, and I've got a regular black top hat in addition to the Fangs official hat. But I don't have anything military. And we're coming up on Memorial Day, and both my grandfather and my father were in the military. Both served at times of crisis. My grandfather served in World War II. A little bit more serious, I guess, tonight. And he was a B-17 pilot, got shot down twice, had to bail out once. And this is later in the war when you had to fly 50 missions as a B-17 pilot. So there's that. But yeah, so I had that. And then my father was a chauffeur driver for admirals during the Cuban crisis. So he was down in Florida during that. So there's that. So this is a standard military cap for a lot of militaries. And I didn't want to be American exclusive. So I have 8 of these things. So what I'm going to do from now on is I will have a vote in the chat for what hat do you want me to wear if we reach the goal of 5 super chats in that stream that day. So, and that'll be a part of it. And then we'll, so there's that. So, we're in honor of Memorial Day. This hat is here. It's blue too. It's not black. I was thinking of my father when I bought it. I think he would have liked it. So, so let's see. Oh, Katie and Ronald both got it into the commandments. Outstanding. Nibblery made it into the commandments too, which made me happy. There we go. See, this is a religion that listens to you. We will absolutely itch your ears and give you what you want to hear. We're not going to fake it. So, yeah, my granddad was a B-17 pilot. He joked about it when I was a kid. He has 2 distinguished flying crosses, and his joke was, yeah, it's 2 distinguished crashing crosses, because he belly landed his B-17 in a field, and everybody survived. So he won a distinguished flying cross for that. He says a distinguished crashing cross, but he was one of those guys that they wrote the fictional stories about. Yeah, he was the real deal. Very interesting and very brave man, died way too early in the 70s. So, and then my father chauffeured around admirals at one of the bases in Florida at the time of the Cuban crisis. And if you see an admiral with his like armed escort, it's the white dress Navy uniform, like clean white, and the black sidearm and all that. That my dad had a picture of that with him, but somewhere in one of our moves we lost it. So there's that. Nibblings. We got to put the word fang in there, though. Fang nibblings. Nibblings of fangs. Brothers and sisters of the fang nibblings. There we go. See, I don't have a name for the cult. I don't. So the cult of fang has no name. So it does have a theology and fangsology, but oh, that's a cool one. Card betters. My dad liked to wear masks and costumes. One never knew who was coming to dinner. Okay. The honor is all mine. Fangs bless you and keep you. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I can see that. But America likes to pick fights. And then we say we're not going to pick a fight, and then we end up involved in the fight later. Because I really feel like Americans just can't avoid fighting. We like to fight. So, fanglings. There you go. Because nibbling with fangs is an inherently dangerous activity because of the fangs. So, yeah, I get that, Michael. I didn't want to mention it. Although Germany has been involved in a few wars that I think they were they were the good guys. So that has happened. May fangs bite down upon you and keep you from squirming. I'm not sure that's consensual, unless it is consensual. That's what you want. May fangs always nibble at your heart. Yes, that's definitely part of the canon now. See, I'm trying to write a gospel of fangs. At some point, I'll have more information. I'm going to take the presentation we had tonight and kind of turn it into a more something that's a little bit more scripture-esque in its wording. So it's a bit dark, but I like it. So there's that. Oh, folks. Well, I've kind of, I don't know, the nibblings of fangs. Okay. Nibblings of fangs. The nom-nomians. Oh, you people. You never fail me. You never fail me. Oh, I love streaming now. It's my pick-me-up every time. Every time. With our nomenclature. Was Fangs born in a burrow south of Jerusalem? I'm not sure. He was born in another dimension and transferred here by lightning. So that's the one true fact we know about Fangs. So your son is meowing. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night, guys. I do have to get some other stuff done. So, but this has been an absolutely fun stream. I hope you guys enjoyed us spoofing religion by creating another one. And Fangs will continue to be the mascot of this channel for a long, long time, I think. He just fits in with what I try to do, and he's starting to develop a personality that's very similar to my own. Imagine that. It's yeah, it's been a great stream. Below Jesus's crucifix. Okay, there you go, in a cave. All right. Yeah, it was a great stream, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys had a good time tonight, because that's kind of the point of Saturday nights with me. I like to have a good time. Okay, they have Saturday Night at the Atheist, and they usually react to something. I will still react to stuff on Saturdays, but I'm always in a mood for a good time on Saturday. So I trust that all of you are the same, and hopefully some videos will be coming out soon. I've had to kind of rechange what I'm trying to do. A lot of times I end up scrapping everything and starting over, and that's kind of what happened this weekend. So, but yeah, the whole thing is going to go well. Lapping up the extra veggie sauce. Yes, please consensually smash the like button. I appreciate it. It helps me. And people, a stream this length, they don't mind watching again. So, and I know that Coyote wanted to watch it again. So make sure it's all up there. So peace out, everybody. Appreciate all of you. May fangs always nibble at your heart, and enjoy all the blessings of fangs. May your teeth ever be pointy. May your vegetables always be pure. All hail to fangs, nom nom, and all of that. And as always, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So make sure you take all your time, money, and opportunities and everything else and spend them on yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because not only is that the corruption of your vegetables, it's a dead end. And I speak from experience. And as always, folks, I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all next time.